All right, this is the August Mastermind 2023. Today we're talking about video. Take it away, Mr. Saunders or Sean.
Well, do you know, video it's well known to be the most important marketing tool you can do for your business. It used to be quite an intimidating thing, to have decent quality video, you had to hire a videographer, have kind of that skill set in place. But now with the apps you've got on your phones, your laptops, your Macs, the internet, YouTube, it isn't really a barrier anymore. I personally find video easier than written content, such as blog posts. I struggle to write blog posts, where ChatGPT is your friend for that stuff. But I struggle to write blog posts. But whereas it comes to video, I don't struggle as much. It's easy for me to just press record and do something. And a lot of people are getting better and better at it, but I think there's certain fundamentals that have got to be put in place before you just kind of press record or go live. And so, I've kind of got a couple of little tips along that. I think the first and foremost is kind of have an idea of what you're going to do, and know your audience. I'm seeing more and more people online now that are doing that. They're going live, they're putting video content out there, but they're doing it without too much thought on the end user. So it's not necessarily delivering value, it's an ego post. It's doing a video for the sake of just doing a video. And that's great. That's better than no video at all. But if you're wanting to grow your business, if you're wanting to level up, then you've got to put yourself into the mindset of your audience. What questions do they need answering? What's their burning desires? What issue does your business or service solve that they want to know about? And so know that in mind when you start to put together a video, or when you start a live stream or podcast or something like that. So know your audience, and there's tools out there to help with that. If you're majorly into your video, you'll have heard of YouTube. If you've not heard of YouTube, then you probably shouldn't be on this course or any other course that's about this just yet. But the easiest way to find out what people are searching for on YouTube is just start to type in your niche, whatever that is, whether it be hypnotism, whether it be hypnotherapy, whether it be business coaching, whatever it is. As you start to type that into the search bar on YouTube, it then gives you the suggestions from what people are searching. Google does something similar. That gives you your title topics, and it lets you know that people are actually asking those questions. Another great website resource is answerthepublic.com. Again, put in your niche, your business, and that's going to bring up all sorts of various different questions that people are searching for to find the answers. So I think knowing your audience and what they want to hear is so important when you're starting it out. Because if you just doing a video to tell people that you're an amazing hypnotist and you're the world's fastest, or you're the world's best, or you can help people stop smoking and do that's great, but that's all for you. That's just a massive advert, and people aren't really keen on massive adverts. Which leads into storytelling. Again, when George Lucas and everyone else is putting together a film, they plan it out. They storyboard what the video is going to be, what the highs and lows are, what the challenges are, what the hero's journey is. And so it's important to not just deliver facts and that type of thing. It's also important to deliver engaging content, to deliver a story, give anecdotes, give case studies without obviously revealing details of individuals, but make it interesting, make it relevant to people. So having that storytelling element is always important, because people won't necessarily remember the facts, but if you've entertained them, if you've informed them, if you've educated them in such a way that they're gonna remember it. One of my favorite ever TED Talks, after the Jim Kellner TED Talk, obviously, one of my favorite TED Talks is on storytelling, and it's how education killed creativity. And it's done in such a way that it's a heavy topic, but it's done with humour, sarcasm, British sarcasm as well. And it's one that I always remember. It's one that I always tell people to go watch. And again, it's because storytelling is so important on that particular topic. And I think it's easy, if you're nervous about creating a video, it's easy to forget about that. It's easy to lean on the facts rather than the theme of stuff, if that makes sense. Another thing that I'm a fan of, and it's a weird one, because it's a don't put the cart before the horse, but you know, prioritizing production quality, which, like, for me, both with me and Jim, you know, we're normally always in a studio. I'm currently not in a studio at the moment, but production quality is so important, because you know, an audience is not going to put up with poor audio. People that are going live or doing phone content creation, which is great. The camera quality is brilliant on these things, so we've not got any excuse to not do it. But the microphone quality is not great. So, you know, think about where you can improve your video production quality, your audio production quality, and then fine tune and dial into that. It's so easy to create good video content now, but it's so easy to miss those fundamentals. If you've got something that looks good, that can grab people's attention and draw them in, especially if you're, you know, trying to gain new audience or trying to keep that engagement up, you've got to make it so that it is engaging, so it does look interesting, so you do sound good. If you make it difficult for people to listen to it and to watch it, then they're not gonna buy into it, or they're not gonna stay with you on message for as long as possible. And I think a call to action. Again, I see lots of lives and videos online which are, you know, ego posts. They're there just to be there, rather than, you know, here's the purpose of why we're going to do a video like this video we're doing now. Here's the purpose of why we're doing it. You know, we want to deliver value. We want to educate people a little bit. We want to, you know, help people do better by leveling up. You know, what's the call to action? You know, people are scared to push the sales element, and they might tick all the other boxes. They might have great video production quality. They might have a great story. They might have all this stuff, but then they get weak at the thought of having that call to action at the end of saying, like, book onto my course, sign up now for this, do this now. You know, and as humans, we need that point in any story where we are told now is the time to sign up. Do it now. Because without it, we still think we're in that story. And then we'll get past that point and we get to the point where it becomes never ending. And I hate that. Like it happens on Zooms a lot. It happens on live streams when people are new to live streaming. They fluff around their call to action. They don't close the deal. They're scared of getting that no. And because of that, it never tails off. And then I'm like, right, how long is this going to be? Because I'm stuck here now. And so having that call to action, it respects, like, your time, your audience's time, you know, and it's the time to let them know that that's what it should be doing. And I think a great thing, once you get into the habit of doing that video stuff, especially if you're wanting to level up, is, you know, measure and optimize. Play around with different thumbnails, play around with different colors, play around with different everything, so that you can kind of go, do you know what, I go live every Tuesday, or put my video out and schedule it every Wednesday afternoon. Let's split that. Let's try doing it Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Let's try a thumbnail with a big picture of a face versus a little picture of a face. Keep testing the different things to find out what works and why it works. And with YouTube and Vimeo, you know, it's so easy to get that data. You can see where you're losing your audience, where you're gaining your audience. You don't need to be massive into your analytics, but you can visually see straight away, oh, when I made a joke about that particular sports team or soccer team, then all of a sudden this dropped off. When I did this, this happened. And so, you know, they have the tools there to make it really simple for you to understand the analytics as well. And YouTube now even has some AI elements. So if you're creating a piece of content and putting it out there, the AI on YouTube can now look at that and see, you know, here's a good bit. Here's where you've got your most audience retention. And look at stuff like TubeBuddy. You You know, TubeBuddy is a not expensive piece of software that works with your YouTube and can recommend titles, can recommend adjustments in your descriptions, in tags, in keywords. It can even recommend between this time and this time, you had your best audience retention and click rate, maybe turn this section into a short. I've just been playing with that, and you know, again, the viewer figures go up just by trusting the computer and trusting the systems. But stuff like TubeBuddy, you can get a free version. There is a paid version for it as well. It's not much, but definitely worth it, because you know, putting stuff out there is going to be the best thing you can do for your business. If you're not creating YouTube shorts or TikToks or Instagram reels, you know, start that. That is just, it's so simple to create a reel, especially as, you know, as hypnotists. We've got content all the time being created when we're talking to people, we're doing skits, we're doing routines, we're doing presentations, we're doing talks, we're doing all that stuff. There is no excuse to not do a 30-second video. It can be anything and nothing. And because it's so short, it almost short circuits the algorithm, because people start to watch it on repeat thinking it might be a little bit longer. You don't want to cheat the algorithm. You know, you want to be putting out quality, value content, but anything that's going to give you a bit of a boost, it's going to get those numbers going up. And shorts can be great for ego, because you can put a video out and all of a sudden you get, you know, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 views in the space of 24 hours. Brilliant. And that then leads people to your longer form content. You're going to look at it like dating. A short video is that first date, that's coffee. You know, that's going to lead them to a longer video, maybe a 2 or 3 minute video, and then maybe into a series. Paul Ramsey has just done a great series where he's put it out in like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 3.5, bit of a cliffhanger, and part 4, where he's just talking through the process of developing a skit. This is really interesting because it's not just a hypnotist saying, I do this great routine, this is my great routine, look how amazing I am. It's like, no, let's look at the thought process, the story behind skit creation. And that as a series got me absolutely hooked. It doesn't matter what you do, what we're doing, you know, get your audience involved in it. So yeah, the call to actions, measure and optimize, and, you know, engage with the viewers. If somebody comments on one of your videos on Vimeo or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is, engage with them. You know, farm content from them. If somebody says something that's a little bit controversial, don't be arrogant with it, but do press a couple of buttons to get them to maybe argue with you. You know, to push their buttons on what their responses are, because if they're engaging with you emotionally, whether it be positive or negative, the algorithm doesn't know the difference. It just sees good, hot engagement. So it's going to push it and show it to more people. I know you do a lot of stuff like that, Jim.
Yeah.
So yeah. Consistent, and again, find the consistency, you know, find a regular time to put your content out there and just keep doing it. It lets your audience know, listen, we're going to be going live on this day at this time. Hypno News, you know, it started off as a bit of a whim at the end of a conference and has then been consistent every week. And even the weeks when we've both been on the road and not been able to do it, we've managed to find some, you know, okay. Yeah. You know, you get what you pay
more
for.
like eye candy, some eye candy, really. Yeah.
Exactly.
Take
You must be talking about Paul then.
But that consistency, it's respecting your audience's time, because they know. But yeah, a great thing that Lisa's doing is the like monetizing their show videos and putting that on Vimeo, where you can rent videos out there now as well, which again is a great thing. And the more content you put out there, it gives you more content of a library of stuff that is either going to get picked up in 6 months or a year's time by the algorithm, or it can be content that can be repurposed at a later date to go into a course, to go into a mastermind, to be part of other bits of videos that you're doing. So yeah, that is my bit about leveling up about video.
Awesome. Sean, what do you got for us? Anything to contribute on that?
Well, I just had a discussion with somebody who's starting a video podcast, and I think some of the things that I said to him are right up the same lines, about being consistent. The other thing I would add is, regardless of where you upload your video to, you better have a local backup. That may mean that you're storing 24 terabyte hard drives, but at least you've got your video. If something goes wrong, you can take that and then start over with it. Don't trust that just because it's up on YouTube that YouTube is going to be there forever, or Vimeo or any of them. Make sure you've got a backup of your video.
Yeah, it's such a great point, because I think as your stuff grows and develops, let's say everything goes brilliant, the algorithms line up, the universe blesses you with going viral, and that becomes an income stream for your business. If you've not got control over those assets, it can be taken away with you in a second, in a heartbeat, and then you've got to start from scratch again. Yeah, definitely. That's such a great point. And do you know what? I used to just rely on it just being up there. So yeah, cool point.
So there are a couple of things that I'd like to just kind of tag what Grant said. Really thinking this isn't some self-indulgent thing, and I know sometimes it doesn't happen as often. This will seem to be going on a lot during the dark times, but we get people to jump on and go, "Hey, I'm doing this 30-day video challenge. I have to go live every day." I immediately stop watching, because I don't care, right? What's in it? What you have to think about is what's in it for me as the audience member. This isn't, now it's great that you're doing this personal growth thing, and that's great. Like if you're in a group, in a coach's group, or they're, you want to put it in there. But if you're just going live because you want to go live every day, I don't give a damn, really. I mean, now if it's somebody I know, somebody I like, I care about or something, sure, I'll probably watch and stuff. But otherwise, no, I don't. There's nothing in it for me. So if that's your thing, and I think that's a great way to do it. I mean, that's great if you've got valuable content that you want to convey and you want to do something every day for 30 days, if you think that's going to help or something, fantastic. But just don't give me the behind the scenes look. Just go straight from, hey, I was talking to a client, hey, whatever, and just go from there.
Yeah.
The other thing that'll make me click off your video really quickly is if we talked about this before during social media, but if you come on and go, okay, we're just going to wait for a few more people to show up. No.
Yeah, I'm gone.
We're not waiting.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you just told all of us that are there, we're not as important. And so it's a great time for shout outs. It's a great time to convey some information that you repeat later on. So you get a little chunk of info that you want to put out there and then repeat it at the end. Hey, just want to reiterate, remember we talked about this in the beginning. Make it valuable stuff. Don't stall around. It doesn't make sense. And you're going to get people watching on the replay anyway, and they're going to be annoyed that you're waiting for people. Now we got to skip ahead. How long are you going to wait for them? These kind of things. So yeah, please try not to do that. Consistency, like Grant said, and it's a constant struggle for me. And I'll give you an example. Sean knows this. We get people that will hit us up in Messenger and go, "Hey, is Hypnosis Hero this week?" Because we were we weren't consistent. We weren't telling people exactly when we were going to be coming up. That's the podcast that we do. And people get in the habit and they really want that content. Like Grant was saying, they want it. Think about, when TV shows used to come out, if you're old enough to remember when TV shows came out, Thursdays at 8 or, Mondays at 9 or something. You looked forward to that. You anticipated it. You tuned in. You were trained for it. So now people are trained to go to my channel every Friday night at 7:30. They show up. There's nothing. There's not even a thing saying we're not here this week. So what I had to do is I scaled back. I said, I can't do it every week. I'm going to do it every other week. And when I can't do it, I'm going to make sure people know that I can't do it. And actually, I'll probably start doing like what, in fact, I have done it like we've done with Hypno News. Kind of step away. You don't have to be the star. you don't have to be the only thing that's driving that video program, whatever it's podcast, whatever. Have a guest host. I mean, all the talk shows do that, right? Remember Johnny Carson? He had guests coming in. They all do this. They go on vacation. They have somebody cover for them.
In the end, Johnny only worked 3 days a week.
What's that?
In the end, Johnny only worked 3 days a week.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm hoping to do, Sean. So sharpen your skills. So so I scaled back, and now I go every other week, and I've let it be known, hey, we're doing this on the second and fourth Friday. And I don't know, maybe we do go back to we're getting a lot of requests to be on people be on the show, so we may have to go to every week, and maybe we just get, maybe Sean is the guest host sometimes, maybe Grant jumps on it as a guest host. So just be consistent, like you said, and people will like that. And I don't know if you've ever done this. I remember I was listening to this one podcast for a while, and then it disappeared for a couple months. Just disappeared. There was no warning, just gone. And then it came back, and I was like, well, forget it. I'm kind of out of the loop now. I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things.
Yeah, it's building relationships.
Yeah.
You got to treat it as you treat dating. Meeting for coffees, small bite-sized chunks of information, consistency. Building trust. All of these things, like you said about the whole jumping on and saying, "Oh, we're just going to make more interesting people." How successful would you be if you're in a bar and you kind of go, "I'm going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you just yet. I'm going to see if anybody prettier or funnier comes in first. And if they don't, then I'll talk to you." It's people like, "No, I'm not interested now, thank you. I don't want to be somebody's second choice." Same thing with this. And like you said, Dan, about that, you start to build that momentum, and then you stop. And you think, oh, nobody's watching, nobody's, my viewer's not there, so I'm just going to stop putting in the effort. And that's generally when stuff starts to take off. And then it starts to, you get caught up on YouTube and people start watching it. But then there's no follow through. They get to the end of the series, and then you kind of go, I'm going to start again. And it's like, well, no, because that then just feels like you just wanted me as a customer.
Yeah, I think people underestimate how long it actually takes to gain an audience. With the platforms, when they started 15, 20 years ago, they were small. There weren't that many creators. It was fairly easy to stand out from the other guy. Now there's millions of creators, and they all seem to want to do the same sort of what I'll call video diarrhea. To capitalize on what you were talking about. It's not that stuff that's going to get you the audience. It's that you're going to give your audience something that is unique to them, that they can connect with, and ultimately connect with you.
Yes.
Yeah. Solving their pain points, solving their problems, but done in your way, with your personality. That's the thing that's going to create that connection. Your personality creates the connection. Your content fixes their problems. A lot of people, I think, rely too much on just personality without, fixing problems. That's then that's just entertainment. It's just, it's junk food. I think you've got to have consistency and deliver value.
And the thing is I know because I talk to people all the time, and they're like, "Well, I'm not comfortable doing video." Well, look, guys, we weren't comfortable either. Most of us, when we first started doing video. Go back and look at my first video on YouTube. I mean, 10 years ago.
I look better in real life. I don't know about you guys.
Depends on what filter I'm using. But it really is that way, that people make that connection. That makes them want to work with you and not that other person, because you're finding your tribe. And like we talked about during social media and during some of the other talks, just because somebody else has said this 1,000 times, Tony Robbins has said the same thing 1,000 times. It's going to be you that they're going to connect with. For some reason, they like your personality, or they've never heard of Tony Robbins, believe it or not. So it's so important that we stand out. And I'll say this again. I've had so many people, when they get on the consult call with me, they say, I've watched all of your videos. And so, and I've got like 500 videos. So that's like, all of them, really? But they do make a connection that way. And, you know, like what Grant said too, I mean, if you're worried about the haters, stop worrying about it. It's all engagement is good engagement. And
Yeah.
again, you know, it's like we, where did we post it? I think I posted in the Performing Hypnosis Summit, the talk by Teddy Roosevelt, the Man in the Arena. Go look that up if you haven't seen it, read it. The Man in the Arena. Any performer, any content creator should read that, because basically it's saying the person that's a critic, they're not doing anything else. That's all they do.
Yeah.
They're not creating. They're not doing the world any good. And then to back this up, to prove it to yourself, again, I said it a million times. Click on their profile on YouTube. When they say something, when they diss your tie, literally take time out of their day to say that's an ugly tie. Click on their profile and see they don't have any videos of themselves. So
Yeah.
you're worrying about things that you shouldn't be worrying about. You don't need to worry about. And for a lot of you that are in this level up mastermind, your coaches, your hypnotists, you have the tools to get past this kind of thing.
Yeah. And there's a great saying, I can't remember who says it. I wish I knew it at the top of my head because it made me sound intelligent. But the quote goes something like, I've never met a hater doing better than me.
Oh,
you know?
God, yes. No kidding.
It's
right.
It's
yeah.
You know, people doing well and the people at the top aren't disrespecting other colleagues that are at the same level, you know, or people trying to do better, you know.
Yeah.
It's the people at the bottom that are, you know, that aren't creating, that aren't doing things. And when it comes to your point about the whole not being comfortable being on video, I'm not comfortable being poor, you know. And the thing that's going to help me
yeah, I've been on both sides of it, and definitely there's one side is better.
Exactly.
The in Louisiana, and I guess anywhere that they pull crayfish out of the water, they will just throw them in buckets. They don't have to cover the bucket, so things, because you know, you would think these things would actually crawl out. What happens is when somebody starts getting up, the rest of them pull them back down.
Yeah. And
that's your classic hater right there.
Yeah.
Somebody who just wants you pull, you know, it's like the fool, you know, who'll pull you down to his level of stupidity and beat you with it.
Yeah. That is so true.
If you let him.
Yeah. Believe me, people like Darren Brown and Steve G. Jones even, and you know, McKenna, I mean, they're too freaking busy to go around hating on your videos. Okay. Be busier. Be busy enough that you don't have time to worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it's you know, McKenna has had his fair share of haters for his product, for his shows, for stuff that's going on. But he's got to such a level now, by not engaging with that, such a level now that his success cannot be ignored. You know, so if somebody hates on you, I mean, don't get me wrong, if somebody gives you critical, negative feedback, that's different from hating. That's really valuable content. If somebody goes, Grant, here's this, maybe you should try doing this, you might find better engagement. Don't just go, oh, that's just a hater, that's just a hater. Have a think about what you said. Could that be an improvement? If you're getting critical feedback that's going to improve your content, improve your business, even if it's improve your personality. I'm terrible for filler words, you know, because I do live a lot, and because we are on stage a lot and we have to think on our feet, I will use filler words. I'm having to learn to slow down so I don't use filler words, because ums and ahs and you know what I means are not respecting my audience's time. It took someone to mention that to me. It was kind of like, what do you mean I use filler words? And then when you watch it back, you're like, oh, wow, I use lots of filler words. And so now when I'm consciously putting content out there, I'm more conscious about the rate at which I speak, my enunciation. I have to slow things down and be more thoughtful. This has the positive effect of it sounds like I have more authority when I'm speaking on a subject because I've slowed it right down a little bit. But that is only a recent addition from getting that feedback from someone. I could have gone, they're a hater, they don't know what I'm about. So sometimes that negative feedback is valuable information.
Absolutely. Yeah. Something I want to just mention too, and Grant, can you tell people what your Amazon address is to go look at your lives?
Oh, Grant, Amazon. Yeah, Amazon.com/. live. I'm just trying to remember now. Amazon.com/live Grant Saunders hypnotist. It says Amazon.com/live/Grant Saunders hypnotist.
And we'll include that in the notes for this. But and the reason I want to just include that is because please go take a look at what he's doing, because he really is. He's up the game for all of us. Really, the bastard. Anyway, but he's really shown us where we should be, or at least could be aiming for, because you want to stop that scroll. So go check out what his setup. But here's the thing: what I want you to keep in mind is Grant didn't start there.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So if all you, and because I was just talking to somebody recently who was talking about microphones and wanted to invest in a good microphone. And I said, well, if you got AirPods, you've got a decent microphone. If you've got like a headset system. Now, Grant said, I mean, you don't want to just hold your phone because that's not great quality. And I mean, that'll work if you're on the run or something like that. You just want to do something quick. And I think it does make sense to have a mix of really professional looking stuff and then kind of just real everyday person kind of stuff. I think that makes sense. But she was really getting hung up on this whole microphone thing and then going, well, I can't afford that, so I can't really start this podcast. And I'm like, no, that's the wrong attitude. You start now with what you have, and because you're growing, you're learning, and you're going to learn so much other stuff. And look, the first stuff you put out is probably going to be crap, and that's okay. You're going to get better. You have to start doing it somewhere. And so there's no reason to wait until you've got all the best equipment. Start where you're at and start building it up. Go look at Grant's recommendations. He's got a lot of great recommendations. He's got lower end stuff and then higher end stuff. And so as you can afford it, you go to that next level microphone, that next level video device.
It works really well as well because, and this is why you've almost got to start badly.
You do.
The audience comes on that journey with you. And if you're not a tech person and I don't know about all that tech stuff, even better, because what it means is if I started with my studio now, I'd have given up. It's too complicated. You start with what you've got, and then you kind of go, right, I want to improve my sound. So you do a bit of research, what are the different microphones, what are the pros and cons, what is this? So then you get your microphone and then you learn about that one piece of equipment, you learn about the microphone, where's the best place to place it? If you've got the microphone on a desk stand on your desk and you're moving your mouse, there's a chance that noise might transfer into your microphone. So you learn all these little things about that thing. Then you go, right, well, now I need to improve my lighting, and you get a light. And then as you grow, your stream, your videos start to look a little bit better. You start to sound a little bit better. And then you learn a little bit more with each one. So then you get to a point where you're only having to learn one or two new pieces of information about the tech that you've got. But then 6 months down the line, you realize how much knowledge you have just from the application stage, just from learning what you need to learn about what you were using, not all the extra stuff by reading the manual for your mixer and your this, that, and other. And your audience then looks back. And then when you look back after 6 months, you go, wow, look how far I've come. And that's a great motivator.
And it's a great piece, and especially for the coaches and hypnotists out there that are watching. I know we've got a lot of other people in here, but that's such a great example for you to tell your clients then, look, I didn't start off running a marathon. I started off with that daily walk, or I started off with, just a few minutes of yoga. And then now I'm this, it's that same kind of a journey. And the problem is I've just ran into so many people that are letting that stand in their way. If you have, especially, any phone that you have today is going to be fine. Now, I say any, but mostly if you have a decent phone, iPhone especially, a decent Samsung or something, just a decent phone, you're going to get, the video quality is going to be just fine. Just fine.
Any iPhone or just a decent Samsung.
Yeah, exactly. Just one of the more expensive Samsungs. Yeah. Any iPhone will be fine. Also, what I found out, what I've discovered too, is that you can go online to Amazon and you can buy an old iPhone. So if you want, you can go buy an iPhone 10 for gosh, I think $200 now, and that's great
Yeah.
video quality. So if you can't
Yeah.
afford to get a camera, get that.
And the camera quality on most smartphones now is unbelievable. It's news channels have reporters that are using, you know, smartphones. That's the quality of the camera. The microphones on your phone are not as good, but again, if you've got AirPods, that is a great alternative.
Yeah. Very good. We're going to put the link to, we're also going to put the link in here for Grant's, he's got a Facebook group, Video for Hypnotherapists, I think is what it's called, that right? We also have his talk, live streaming for hypnotherapists, right? And also, and let me just tell you too, the value of live streaming, someone is much more likely to watch an 1.5 hour long live stream than they are to watch an 1.5 hour long video. And I know that because with Hypnosis Hero, I mean, we sometimes go 2 hours now and people are still watching. Kind of blows my mind. I'm like, what? So, but if they were just looking, if you're just kind of scrolling through, especially in our TikTok era, and you see something that's over a few minutes, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend 10 minutes on something. I don't know if I have that kind of time, let alone 2 hours. So live streaming, I know it's scarier. It is, but there are ways, you know, there are ways. And let me just tell you a couple of the ways that you can do this safely. So number one, to begin with, you can actually, like if you're going on Facebook, you can set the audience to just yourself. So start doing them just yourself. Just try it. Just give it a try. Make sure everything's fine. Do a couple that way if that makes you feel better. Also, if you just jump out there and start doing it, you can delete it right afterwards. It'll give you the option, delete it now, keep it for 30 days, or get rid of it completely. So if you really screw it up, it's not that big a deal. The other thing that I love about going live, we've got the audience, all the platforms want you to go live, so they're pushing that content out. But also, man, if I have to edit something, it may take a long time for me to do it. So if I was, for instance, if I was recording Hypnosis Hero and then going back through and going through the process of having to, I need to watch it and edit it and all that stuff, never going to happen. 2 hour, I don't even edit my shows. I don't even have good clips for my shows because I'm too lazy to go edit clips. I need to do that though. I need to sit down and do that. But if you go live, you have no choice. It's just out there. Now I will tell you though, if you live stream to like YouTube, or even if you upload it later, you can actually edit on the platform. So you don't even have the excuse anymore of not being able to edit on your computer. It's up there, and there's so many great AI tools out there. I think Grant talked about this earlier, where you can have them, they'll clip out a minute for you, and you've got a nice little short. There's just no reason for you not to be taking advantage of this very powerful tool that also, it's not just about getting clients. You can make money. I want you to go look up a couple of names. I want you to go look up John Moyer and look up Michael Seeley. Michael Seeley especially, holy Jeebus, the guy's got millions of views, people, on YouTube, millions, doing hypnosis recordings that any hypnotist could be doing. And I'm not saying that to diss Michael. He's great, but I've listened to him, and there's nothing all that spectacular. He doesn't have like a really spectacular voice, and it's a fine voice. It's just your everyday run-of-the-mill hypnosis, and he's got millions of views. Now, I don't know the exact amount of money you make on 1 million views, but I think he's probably doing okay just in that passive income by creating hypnosis videos on YouTube. So a lot of ways to get monetized. So, I mean, really, so YouTube, I can't believe it. Grant and I have talked about this. We just neglected it for so long. Really, I consider that I try to make that my primary focus now as far as content, because you've got the attracting the people, because it's the number 2 search engine in the world. So you got them attracting potential clients, customers. And if you get monetized, you get enough views, you're going to get money.
Yeah.
Win-win.
And there's a thing for years where people were trying to get on TV. YouTube, YouTube is the new TV. It's democratized, entertainment. Yeah. So you don't need a big, network behind you with billions of dollars. You can do it in your own space, your own home, and you're creating content which is creating adverts for you as a person, as a service provider. That literally, I get inquiries from videos, so
Yeah.
that's always helps. Just going back to the live streaming thing, you know, I think the figures from the platforms is people will watch for 3 times longer on a live than what they would
Wow.
an upload video. Think of it like a live stream is like a conversation that you would have with a friend.
Yeah.
And the video that you put out there is like a talk or presentation on stage. So it can be imperfect. In fact, the imperfection of live streams what makes it authentic. And an interesting figure that's just come out from Facebook is 1 in 5 posts on Facebook now is a live stream.
Wow.
So that's, you know, live streaming it's still in the very early days, but it is massive.
And you know, that is such a great point too, Grant. You know, I mean, I remember growing up, I wanted to be on the radio, I want to be on TV. You can do that now. You can be you can be a writer. You know, you can be a newscaster. You can do all these things. And so I mean that the downside of that is there's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of garbage out there, and there's just a lot of even great quality content, but it's hard to get found. But you have that opportunity, and so many of us are just squandering it. We're just like, I don't want to do it. It feels uncomfortable. What if people don't like it? What if my, this is the thing that held me back for a long time. Wow, what if some other hypnotist, that's maybe higher up on the I don't know, whatever playing field that I imagined. What if they say I'm wrong or something? Who cares, guys? Who cares? Richard Nongard isn't taking time to go watch my videos anyway. All right.
Yeah. And they're not your customer. There is a great. Yeah, and that's it. So many people are concerned with, other hypnotists or other people. I had this conversation with someone about a particular business, and they were like, "Oh, I'm always seeing adverts for this." I'm like, "Oh, I get it," because that person's created their Facebook ads and then put in, people that are interested in hypnotherapy. People that are interested in hypnotherapy online tend to be other hypnotherapists. They tend not to be your clients. Your clients, isn't showing an interest in hypnotherapy. Find out what else they're interested in. That's where you market to. Because otherwise, your ad spend is just going on your competition. So yeah. So going back to what I was going to say, there's a great motivational speaker who is world famous now. But when he started off, he literally just parrot fashioned other great motivational speakers, found some old books, found some great quotes, put his content out there as if it was his. He did get exposed at one point where literally not only did he just copied someone's particular post, all he'd literally done was like Photoshop their name out of the top corner and then put his name on there on exactly the same post. That got him started. He did then get called out on that, but by then the audience of people that were getting his message and connecting with him had already bought into him. Then that became a great platform to him to be a multi-million-pound coach now that sells coaching. I'll not say who it is, just because he's a multi-million-pound coach now and he can afford better lawyers than me.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and he's just as popular as he ever was. So no one's held it against him. Yeah, the other coaches hold it against him, but his customers don't.
Exactly that, because it's delivering value to his audience that gave him such a great stepping stone. And all it was there's a whole generation of people now that have not heard all that Anthony Robbins stuff, that have not heard all the old Stoic Greek philosophers. This stuff is regurgitated. Deliver it in a different way, deliver it in your own voice. But yes, other coaches might have heard, every day and every way you're feeling better and better.
Right.
Of course, coaches have heard that. But, Janice, who works in accounts at some job that she hates, with a husband that she hates, she might not have heard it. And she hears you say it. She then connects with you. You then build that relationship. You can then deliver the therapy the counseling, the coaching, whatever it is that you need to do.
Spot on. Spot on. Yeah.
So yeah, do buy my t-shirt. I am bringing out with my motivational quotes called "Damn, I'm pretty."
Exactly. Hey, if you can get rich from it, great. Throw me a few bucks, will you? Still trying to milk that baby. Actually, my daughter's she's redone the logo, so maybe we'll get some sales this Christmas. We'll see. I had something I want to say, but anyway, just do videos. Start somewhere. You know.
Yeah.
Really, that's the whole point.
Sure,
This whole thing.
if you're nervous about doing videos, here's the call to action for this. You know, if you're going to put a video out there, put it in the group so that we can look at it. And
Absolutely.
I'll happily give, you know, for what it's worth, my feedback and kind of help on anything like that. But there's no reason why anybody in this group cannot be putting out a video, you know, regularly.
Yeah. And so the group, you know, is a Performing Hypnosis Summit, and we're working hard to keep that. I hate to use this term, but a safe space where, as some of the other, some of the other Facebook groups can be a little bit difficult, challenging to, people can be abrasive. We're trying to really keep it to be a kind of really try to support each other and help everybody be better. So not so much bashing. So please post it in there. Grant, you just made a great point. I just realized. So we do. It's so important to keep in mind who our customer is, because I realize now, in a lot of my tags, I'll put hypnosis, hypnotist, hypnotherapist. But the guy who wants to stop smoking, he doesn't care how he quit smoking. He just wants to quit smoking. Janice in accounting who wants to lose weight, she doesn't care how it happens. She just wants to lose weight. So, a more appropriate tag might be easy weight loss or something like that. So it is super important, even in our tags and that kind of a thing, and to be thinking specifically, this person doesn't care how you're going to help them. They just want to be helped.
They don't care if it's hypnosis, voodoo, witchcraft, NLP, any of the above. They don't care what it is. If you're delivering stopping smoking, they just want to know they can stop smoking. If you can help people lose weight, they just want to lose weight. And people are fundamentally lazy. They want to do it the quickest, easiest, best value way possible.
Yes.
Two weeks.
How we doing on time? Can't see my clock. Yeah, we're just about out of time anyway. Cool, that seemed like good timing. Excellent. Sean, did you have anything else you wanted to contribute before we head out?
No, and I would echo what Grant says. If you want somebody to take a look at the video and give you some pointers, whatever, I actually used to teach a course in television. It wasn't really like changing the channel or anything like that, but it was back in the day when you actually had to mix videotapes and you had this great big massive machine that you would be dialing in right down to the thousandth of a second. So I go back that far. Don't let the fact that there's only a little bit of gray here fool you. I'm just as old as these guys.
Wait, what? Wait, what just happened?
I don't know. I might be older. I don't know.
Fired again.
Yeah.
You keep firing me. I worked at McDonald's. I used to fire teenagers all the time. What do you mean I'm fired? I said, yeah, you're fired. You're working for free now.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. And this will be up in the membership course. If you're not in the membership course yet, get it added. And we'll see you next month.
Yeah, just on a thing on that membership course, I love the fact of like a lot of the things that we're doing, outside of this as well, are going into that membership course as well, which makes it just, again, tremendous value. Yeah.
Right now you've got like 4 or 5. You'll have 4 or 5 mastermind meetings on a variety of topics. We've got the Kill It on social media. We've got another class on working with analytical clients going up soon. We've got live streaming from Grant going up there soon. So we're just going to keep adding more and more content. So it's just going to be like this huge library of information. So go check that out.
Cool.
See everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See you later, guys.